What it sounds like to me was that if this conversation took place as you stated, you were kind of made to take this horse when you weren't really prepared to.
I felt that I had made it very clear that I could not do that.
Were you aware of Ace being lame?
No. When I became aware of the foot being tender, he had had his feet trimmed by Lilia when we arrived, and I seen Ace being silly, as young colts will do, jumping and bucking and things like that when they feel good. And he jumped and slipped and fell onto the arena floor and then got up and did this like, whoa, that was silly kind of thing. And then after that, that's where that foot started to become a problem.
Okay. Can you recover from being lame?
It depends on how bad it really is. It depends on how, what tendon got pulled.
Okay.
Also, I have text messages that she sent to my mom about the payments that she was planning to make.
Officer Montano, can you get that for me? How long were you in possession of the horse, Miss Roof?
Roughly right about 2 months.
And in those 2 months, you made no payments?
No, I was not able to. If I can backtrack just a tad, not too much. When this conversation happened and we all started talking about this, at the time, my boyfriend and I were not aware that we were going to be able to do some debt consolidation and possibly get a fair small amount of money for doing that. And so I did say, I hope to be able to send you a fair amount towards the horse if that is possible, but it was never a guarantee.
But I had made it explicitly clear to Cecilia that the only reason that I was selling this horse was because the hay prices were so high this year, I had to let him go. She assured me that she was going to pay $2,500 when they did the debt consolidation. And she repeatedly, in the conversations prior to the horse being picked up, kept saying, I want him, I want him. She was not talked into it, she was not begged into it, and it was her choice.
All right, Judge Juarez.
Do either of you have text messages that actually show the agreement to buy this horse? Because I don't see anything about an agreement to buy a horse.
There was never any proof in writing.
Ms. Rodriguez, do you typically sell a horse without a contract?
That's absolutely true. It was because she was supposed to be my daughter's best friend.
Okay, and so you thought you just didn't need a contract?
At the time.
She made it perfectly clear that she wanted the horse.
Okay, because I think one of the key issues we're left with here is whether or not the horse is in a condition now that is worse than it was when it was bought or going to be bought, and if so, the reason why. Ms. Rodriguez, I want to ask you first, is there ever a reason to throw a grain pan at a horse?
No.
Okay. Ms. Roof, have you ever thrown a grain pan at a horse?
Absolutely not.
Yes, she has.
So I want you to take a look at the text messages that the plaintiff brought, Exhibit A, and you said, you know, your horse was kind of acting up, so he got a grain pan thrown at him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And when I did that, it was towards his feet.
Okay, so you threw a grain pan at him. You just told me you didn't, but you did.
So the horse has, because he's a stud, they can be very bitey, nippy, things like that you need to be watchful for. And finally, one afternoon, was just the frustration, and you can see also on my arm there where he got me again.
I see that.
I grabbed the grain pan that was there and threw it at his feet. Like, you know, get off of me. I need you to realize that I need to stay safe from you also, because there was ground manner issues too that we were working on.
Is that how, in your experience, you properly train a horse not to act up?
Not typically. I would say it was more a moment of frustration.
That was a day that I was not out there, and she ripped on his face with a stud chain. A stud chain is a training device that hooks from the halter, goes down, around, and hooks up on this side. She ripped his mouth to the point that he was bleeding, and I had witnesses that were going to write statements.
No. The only reason the horse got a small nick on his lip was because he was learning it. It had only been a few times that he'd been walked. And he actually jumped up and hit that stud chain. And then after realizing, oh, I have a new lead on, it stopped.